How you doing, everybody? Tim once again coming to you on Sunday here on View from the South Stands. The morning after Toronto FC's latest game and unfortunately latest loss against Sporting Kansas City at BMO Field on Saturday afternoon. First off, I was corrected yesterday, and happy to be corrected by my new friend Andrew. How you doing, Andrew? A young Irishman who corrected my pronunciation of our new defender's name. It is not Darren O'Day, it's Darren O'D is how it's pronounced. So from now on it's going to be Darren O'D, even if everybody else in the Toronto media gets it absolutely wrong. And going into the game yesterday, I thought TFC, after what we saw last week, I thought that we'd have perhaps a bit more of an opportunity to actually put the ball in the net, and it looks like that didn't happen. Looks like if you take a look at the attempts on net, the stats say that Kansas City had 17-6, a 17-6 advantage in shots attempted, and an 8-2 advantage in shots on target. Milos Kosic made, by my estimation, at least 4, maybe 5 really outstanding saves yesterday to earn my man of the match, that's for sure. Unfortunately, Kai Kamara scored, I think, in the 83rd minute off an indirect free kick. The ball actually bounced off Wiedemann and went in, and bang, there goes your draw, which I thought the Reds did a decent job of maybe deserving. I don't think they deserved to win the game yesterday, especially when you're only taking 8 attempts on target at home and you're only getting 2 on net against a very good, solid defensive team and a very good goalie in Jimmy Nielsen. They look a lot alike, suffice it to say. One thing that happened early on in the game yesterday as well is Torsten Frings picked up a bit of a soft yellow card. Unfortunately, that's 5 yellows right now for the season, which means that he's going to be getting a rest on Wednesday. He's not going to be eligible to play in Columbus against the Crew, and I'll get to that game in a little while as well. Frankly, I think Frings looked absolutely gassed yesterday. It speaks again to his quality that really the 2 best chances that Toronto FC had to score in the game. One was a Johnson header off a Frings free kick, and another one was a Darren O'D header late off a Frings cross. Again, it speaks to the guy's amazing quality that he was able to actually provide service that led to TFC's 2 best scoring opportunities in the game. But he just looked physically beaten down in the midfield yesterday, and he wasn't able to be the creative force that he actually usually can be. The other thing I really noticed as well is the fact that TFC wasn't really getting a lot of a bite out of their fullbacks, other than Ashton Morgan, who looked pretty decent again at left back, but they weren't really getting anything out of the right back position. And I'll get to Donnell Henry in a moment. But they weren't getting anything off the flanks in midfield either of any significant creativity. It seemed like where I'm situated in the stands in section 113, we're by the corner in the southeast corner of the stadium. So you can look right up that area, right up the pitch, right up to the north end. And there were minutes upon minutes of that game yesterday where there was not a TFC player within, 6, 7, 8 meters of the east side touchline. It just looks like they were very, very narrow. They didn't have a lot of creativity and a lot of width out of the midfield to try to get in behind a very competent Kansas City defense. Kansas City held a lot of possession as well. And I'll give full marks to Eckersley and O'D. They bent and they absorbed and they sucked up the pressure, and it was only kind of a fluky indirect free kick that led to Kansas City scoring. So I'm pretty cautiously optimistic, specifically in what I saw from the O'D Eckersley partnership. Now, I commented last week, earlier this week after the last game, that it would be interesting to see exactly how Paul Mariner decided to set up his his defensive pairing, specifically what he was going to do with Richard Eckersley. And Richard Eckersley did start as the center back alongside Darren O'Dea yesterday, and they had a pretty decent partnership, I thought, overall. Whether that continues going into the next game, at the very least in Columbus, is going to be a real interesting question as well. You see, a little early in the second half, Donnell Henry went down with what might be, God forbid, a fairly serious knee injury. He was subbed off. He's actually getting an MRI either today or tomorrow, and we'll find out in the next day or two exactly what the extent of his injury actually is. Donnell was playing a very stay-at-home right back yesterday. Ashton Morgan was playing on the left, Eckersley and O'Dea in the middle. And now with Henry going down, does he move Eckersley back to fullback and bring maybe Emery, a guy that Paul Mariner's been quite high on, and who in that early little stretch of success that Mariner had with TFC was playing a centre back. So it'll be interesting to see what he does there. It'll also be interesting to see how he tries to compensate for the lack of a Torsten Frings in the midfield. Eric Avila and Luis Silva. Silva looked okay. Avila has been a bit of a non-entity for the last few games. This might be an opportunity for him from a creative midfielder type perspective to step up and actually maybe cement a more permanent place in the TFC lineup. So we'll see what happens there. Now, Wednesday, Columbus. They obviously had to reschedule that game because of the death of the Crew player, and TFC was gracious enough to actually, have that game rescheduled. The Crew have to fit it in as well. They're playing Houston in Houston today, which is a very tough team to play and a very tough place to go. Hopefully they're going to be all bagged and gassed by the time they get back home to Crew Stadium. And of course we'll see on Wednesday what happens. Let's hope that Toronto can actually do what they did last year in Columbus with a memorable 4-2 win, and Fry on crutches going, yeah, at the end of the game, which I thought was really amazing. But anyway, you guys have yourselves a wonderful week. Way to go, Darren O'Dea, not Darren O'Day. You had a solid introduction to the TFC home fans yesterday. And let's hope that the Reds can cause Columbus some problems at Crew Stadium on Wednesday. Thank you very, very much for watching. You folks have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.